All right, well, we're here at the New York, New Jersey UserCon. We're doing the Meet the Expert for vBrownBag, and I have with me Rawlinson Rivera.
What's up, dude?
Rawlinson, please introduce yourself to the audience, whoever may not know you.
Sure. My name is Rawlinson Rivera. I'm a native New Yorker, now live in California. So this is my first time actually ever doing the VMUG into UserCon in New York, New Jersey, which I'm pretty excited about that.
Cool. All right, where do you work?
So I currently, after working at VMware for 11 years, I now work at this company called Cohesity, which you may have heard of recently. Like, you know, people think it's a backup company, but it's not. But whatever, you know, I let it go. It's cool.
Well, I think I understand you're the CTO.
Yeah,
so you're kind of a big deal.
You could say that, but I'm really not.
Okay.
People really treat me like, obviously, you know, like just a simple, regular, you know, janitor over there, which is cool.
You're just getting stuff done.
Listen, I just take out the garbage, bro. I just handle that. So yeah, I am the global field CTO for Cohesity, and I do a lot of traveling right now.
Yeah.
But you know, I spend a lot of time with engineering, making up and doing some of the things I did at VMware, coming up with some ideas and things that will work for our customers, particularly around VMware components. Like I have this new thing for VMware Cloud Foundations, VMware's new delivery of the software-defined data center, which is pretty hot and sexy.
You kind of knew before because, one thing I like to do here is, let's meet the expert, let's talk to this person, let's get to know him.
Yes.
So one of the things I love to start with is, before we get back on that topic, how do you get into IT? Like, tell us a little about you. I've heard a lot of stories of what you were doing before.
Which ones?
Roller skating and the X Games.
It's rollerblading.
Rollerblading.
Not roller skating.
Sorry.
Chris McCain did roller skating on quads. I did rollerblading professionally. Chris McCain wore leotards and tight suits and weird stuff. I didn't.
I'll make sure to tag him.
Yeah. So let's see. I've always been into like IT related stuff, even though I was like a professional athlete before, professional baseball player, professional skater, or whatever. But I've always, you know, had IT as something I liked, and I was just really into it. You know, you get old in professional sports and some injuries. I broke my ankle pretty bad and some serious surgery, and I took a TV job, and then that was another thing. And I was always messing around with computers, trying to play games on the planes, because I travel a hell of a lot more than I do now back then. But kind of the fire was burning for that, you know, so I kind of got into that, and I started
like trying to figure out the Sound Blaster and the video cards and stuff?
Not only that, but like, how do I get Windows NT to work on a laptop so I can play triple play baseball with another dude across the aisle on the plane while we're traveling? That never worked. Never. But it started, you know, the thing, and you know, I started doing regular support stuff here, you know, many years ago, and then I ended up working
here in New York.
Here in New York, yeah. So I was actually the IT director of a finance firm here in New York.
How do you get from I just like computers to IT director here in New York?
People just, you know, I was like, you know, you like anything else, you like this, you like anything you like, you're gonna put your time on it, excel at it, and that happens. So look, I was really good at my computing stuff. You know, I fixed stuff, I made up stuff, and I got to that point. I had a sense for the business, and then I learned many things in the financial industry, and you know, 9/11 happened here, and I was here, obviously, and then I got introduced to VMware during that time first. So that was when I first used GSX and ESX before vMotion. Like vMotion was about to break, like right before I started using it, to create a DR side and virtualize some of the.
So you got hit with this thing, and you said DR. Let's look at DR. VMware came into phone. Okay, cool.
That's how and I went from there, and then, you know, I'd spent many years there. I fell in love with this whole VMware thing. I really didn't know what it was, but obviously I picked it up, right? Yeah. I ended up working for Microsoft for a little bit, you know, with Chris McCain. I met that dude at a boot camp. He probably embarrassed me here in the keynote today.
That morning, yes, he did.
He loves doing that. And he introduced me to VMware as an instructor. I was an instructor for VMware for many years, and then I kind of evolved and went through the VMware ladder and made it all the way to the office of the CTO and R&D with my favorite boss of all time, Christos, and worked with Duncan and Frank and, you know, William, Alan. We were like the crew at that point. So
and here's something that I find amazing, right? You've done so much stuff that this is the moment that we're going to talk about that you have a VCDX, and it's just going to be like a little side note.
Oh yeah, I did that too once, right? So I got one of those, and it was pretty interesting. You guys should probably try to ask the guys that were on the panel how that went, because it was hilarious.
But were you doing PSO at that time, or?
Yeah. I was in PSO, so I was kind of like one of the first cloud architects, whatever. So I was like senior guy in PSO, and it wasn't easy, but I mean, I drilled. You think those guys drill people? I drill them. If you can get a hold of Andrew Mitchell, he'll tell you exactly how that went down and how borderline failure I was because of my behavior and like, what's up? What do you got for me? What else? I asked them so many questions. They were like, whatever.
Yeah.
But I made it. It was tough. It was probably one of the best experiences of my life.
Once you made VCDX, which is not a small thing at all, right?
I call it VCP Plus for me because it's kind of like my unique thing. I wanted to be VCP Plus #1. I said that one time in on some event, and it became a thing. I was like, oh my God, hold on. VMware gives me crap for that all the time.
How did you become basically the face of vSAN? Because when vSAN was starting, you were the guy that was basically saying, this is really cool, you guys should be learning this.
Well, it just kind of landed on my lap, to be honest. I was in the tech marketing team with the real vSAN person, which was Cormac.
Okay.
Cormac and I worked together in the storage and availability team. Cormac went on to take another role. I own vVols and some of the other storage products that VMware just decided just to kill. It was like I was jinxed. Everything I own just gets killed. Versto, VFRC, VSA, right? And then I inherited vSAN from beta to bringing it out. So vSAN was my baby. After I took it, I ran with it worldwide. And
I know, it was great.
And it was my thing, right? But then we got a super packed team, which were like,
phase 2 came in. You basically did the beachhead. And
correct.
Everybody came in.
That's right. Great. Now they're riding the wave. You know, like that's how it is.
Well, one thing that I particularly admire about your career is how fast you're able to pivot and do something else and be great at it too. So tell us about.
Thank you. What?
Yeah, I'm serious.
Damn.
Tell us about that because it's. You've only shown us like a little. I know you downplay a lot of your accomplishments, but they are really good stuff. And people could make their career out of one facet of what you did. So, so tell me about that search. How you pivot and stuff.
So look, I got and I've said this in many places. I am a product of VMware. I was literally made at VMware. Everything I am today, it was because it started at VMware, and the opportunities that I got there led me to whatever I've done. So when you work in a company that exposes you to freaking geniuses on a daily basis, my boss, Chris, the dude is a walking freaking mathematical equation. He didn't even know how to talk properly, but I get him. And I was given the opportunity to just not work with current technology, then you get the opportunity to kind of work with what's coming at VMware. There's no shortage of technology, so you work with a lot of different things, right? So my job at one point became, what's the next thing? So I was always been able to look. So vSAN was one thing, but I was always driving the whole NSX thing and every other product that we had around. How do we put things? Like how we look beyond? And then you get the opportunity to see things that happen. What's coming in the industry? You start identifying gaps, things that are problems, issues for customers, for the world. Period.
For the new way of doing things.
For the new way of doing things. Right. It's not just the technology itself, because the technology is a means to how you're going to apply that technology to solve a business problem. And it's what happened where I ended up now, right? So same thing, I was very heavy. Obviously, I'm a big advocate of the whole convergence approach, hyper-convergence, whichever flavor you want to call it, but consolidating and eliminating silos makes a lot of sense. Not maybe for everything, but it makes a lot of sense.
Well, and the scale that you can then apply to the automation you can apply to.
Correct. But for me, I look at risk mitigation. I'm a big operational, centric person. So every time, but it's true. Every time a human touches is a problem, is a risk. The more touches, the more risk. The more risk you have exposed. The more silos, the worse. We get to a point where vSAN delivered that. I was kind of like ingrained in me, and vSAN was a real deal. You look at some of the things that are happening with Cohesity, and what I looked at, I said, look, this is the next big thing. And obviously, for anyone that's been paying attention in the industry within the past year or so, there is no denying the information management and dealing with information correctly is a huge deal. I know that data protection is one thing, but there's a lot more to it. So I can identify that. And one of the things that I identify is one of the challenges we had at VMware was that we were never able to
I'm ready to heckle you.
protect the management stack as it continues to grow in a way that it could meet the newer business requirements to kind of bring it back as faster and deploy it faster and do all these kind of things. So I saw an opportunity. I wasn't really an expert in that field. Which is great because you get to learn, and learning is always good. You're always learning, so you got to always be able to our industry changes every 6 months. You got to be able to pivot. You got to run with the punches and kind of recover. And if you can survive that, you're good. And that's what happens. I saw an opportunity. There's a really great technology, the opportunity to fix some really big problems, and I jumped at it.
Yeah, excellent.
I got lucky. This guy Mohit Aaron hooked me up. He always accept my expense reports. So
all right. Well,
that dude never sees my expense reports.
that's why he's not complaining. Okay. So, lastly, I think we've gotten to know you a little about you, but tell me about what you are personally interested in. Like, what are things you like? What is currently what really fulfills you, gives you energy?
Fixing problems beyond what you see today. Like I'm always looking beyond. If there's a piece of software that does something, I'm always looking for ways to include that to do something else. Because there's always a ways to, things are typically designed and made to do one particular thing, but they could do so much more when you know how to apply somewhere else. Right? So I'm always looking to
find those misused cases.
Yes.
Where can this align?
Correct. I'm always looking to put things together.
Like the guy.
Yeah. I'm never like, sure, I get it. You could do this within the box. I operate always outside the box, right? Whether it makes sense in some cases, because you don't always hit a home run.
And it's always a home run, right?
But
when it does, it's a home run.
But when it does, it's kind of big.
Yeah.
Then I'm going to ride that wave.
You're still looking for professional sports.
And I'm going to be like, I told you so. It's going to be big. It's going to be a big thing, So that's what I do.
All right. Well, thank you so much for having this interview with us. Anything else that you want to tell people?
Elver, please get a haircut, dude. That's all I got to say. And I'm going to do what I normally do. With that,